Become aware of what you say. We can't see the words we speak, but words have energy.
There is knowledge that lies just beneath the surface of our world. Knowledge not hidden because it's forbidden, but because it holds power. Power that fades the moment it's forced into words or offered to those unready to receive it. Some truths can't be explained. They must be lived, felt, and discovered through experience. And those who are meant to understand will find their way to it, just as you are about to today. Chosen ones have always been here. Throughout history, there have been those who walked unseen, carrying within them an understanding so profound that it defied logic, disturbed the status quo, and reshaped the very fabric of reality. These were the chosen ones, individuals who awakened to a power that was never granted to them by any earthly force, but rather remembered from the depths of their own being. They moved among the unaware, slipping through the cracks of history, hidden in monasteries, disguised as beggars, standing beside kings, yet never bound by the rules of men. Some called them sages, prophets, mystics, or revolutionaries. Others called them heretics, madmen, or even demons. But regardless of the names given to them, their essence remained the same. They were the ones who refused to be shaped by the world, and instead shaped the world around them. In the hidden monasteries of the Himalayas, monks sat in deep meditation, reaching states of consciousness so powerful that their bodies defied the laws of nature. Legends tell of Tibetan monks practicing tummo, the ancient art of inner heat, where they could sit naked in the snow and melt the ice around them with nothing but the force of their mind. The unaware called it myth, but science later confirmed it. These monks could control their body temperature and enter states of awareness beyond ordinary human comprehension. Then there were the Siddhas of India, mystical beings who had mastered the very essence of reality. Stories say they could teleport, become invisible, and alter time itself. But these abilities were only the side effects of something greater, a mind so free from illusion that reality itself responded to their will. And let us not forget the desert mystics, those who walked alone beneath the burning sun, speaking in riddles, performing miracles that left entire generations in awe. They did not seek power, for they were power itself. They understood what the world had forgotten, that reality bends not to force, but to understanding. Some chosen ones walked in the courts of rulers, not as kings themselves, but as the whispers behind the throne. They never sought the crown because they knew true power was never in the throne. It was in the mind that influenced it. Take Merlin, the enigmatic figure who stood beside King Arthur. Many believe he was simply a magician from legend, but those who look deeper see something more. Merlin was not just a wizard, he was a master of time, an architect of destiny. He guided Arthur not with mere spells, but with knowledge that shaped the very future of Britain. He understood the flow of time and the unseen forces that governed fate itself. Then there was Lao Tzu, the sage who walked away from civilization, leaving behind the Tao Te Ching, a book so powerful that emperors and scholars spent centuries trying to decipher its wisdom. He did not demand followers, nor did he seek a throne, yet his words changed the course of Chinese philosophy forever. And let's not forget Nikola Tesla, a man who seemed to exist outside of time. His inventions seemed to defy reality itself, as if he had tapped into something the world was not ready for. He died alone, his greatest discoveries buried in secrecy. Why? Because the world has always feared those who remember the truth. Being chosen is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. History shows that those who remember the hidden knowledge are often met with resistance, exile, or worse. The world does not take kindly to those who disrupt its illusions. Giordano Bruno, a mystic and philosopher, spoke openly of infinite realities and the boundless nature of the universe long before science could prove it. For his knowledge, he was burned at the stake. Socrates, who urged people to awaken and question their own reality, was forced to drink poison. The Cathars, an ancient spiritual sect that held beliefs about the soul's true nature, were wiped out in one of history's most brutal persecutions. And yet, despite the danger, the chosen ones never stopped. They understood that real power is not something handed down by rulers or granted by institutions. It is something buried deep within, waiting to be remembered. Do not think for a moment that the chosen ones only existed in ancient times. They are here now, walking among us, unnoticed by most, but quietly shaping the course of the future. Some are artists whose words and visions awaken something forgotten within the masses. Some are scientists who push beyond the limits of what is known, risking ridicule for ideas that will one day be accepted as truth. Some are ordinary people, living ordinary lives, but carrying within them a knowing that the world is not as it seems. Perhaps you have always felt different, as if you were meant for something more. Perhaps you have sensed that reality bends when you truly believe that the world shifts in response to your thoughts. If so, then understand this. The chosen ones do not wait for permission. They do not ask for validation. They do not seek approval from the world that tries to keep them asleep. They simply remember. And once you remember, nothing can ever be the same again. It will be the beginning of a new feeling, a moment when reality will start bending in response to your thoughts. That's the next secret. Reality bends in response to your thoughts. That sensation of being guided by an unseen force, leading you exactly where you need to be. These are not coincidences. They are glimpses into something much greater, something that cannot be fully explained in words. There is an ancient understanding that the universe does not reveal its deepest truths to those who seek them in greed, but to those who seek them in silence. This is why the mysteries of energy, of manifestation, of spiritual power have been protected through symbols, myths, and allegories rather than written plainly for all to see. Many have tried to take these secrets and twist them into something material, something to be sold and traded. But the real truth, the one that cannot be spoken, only lived, cannot be bought. It is passed from soul to soul, through whispers, through knowing glances, through the silent recognition of those who walk the same path. Have you ever had a moment where you thought about someone only for them to suddenly call you? Or felt a deep, unshakable certainty that something was going to happen, and then it did? These are not coincidences. They are glimpses into a truth that has been hidden in plain sight. Reality is not something that happens to you. It is something that responds to you. The world around you is far more malleable than you've been led to believe. It is shaped by more than just actions. It is shaped by thoughts. Every thought sends out ripples, vibrations, and waves that move unseen through the fabric of existence. What you dwell on expands, what you fear grows stronger, and what you believe becomes the foundation upon which your world is built. This is not just philosophy, it is something you can prove for yourself. Close your eyes for a moment and recall a time when you were absolutely certain something was going to work out for you. Maybe it was an exam you walked into feeling prepared, a job interview where you already felt like you had the position, or even a social situation where you knew the outcome would go in your favor. Now think about the opposite, an experience where doubt crept in, where you expected failure and failure followed. In both cases, your reality molded itself around your internal state. It wasn't just external circumstances at play, it was the energy you carried into that moment. the unseen force that bent and shaped itself according to your inner world. Mystics, sages, and spiritual teachers have spoken of this for centuries, though they used different words to describe it. The Hermetic texts called it mentalism, the idea that the all is mind, that everything in existence is shaped first by thought. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of how our inner state determines the nature of our external experience. Even the Bible states, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. But the modern world has attempted to strip away this knowledge, replacing it with the illusion that we are powerless against circumstance, that life is random, that reality is fixed, that we must struggle and fight against forces beyond our control. Yet those who have awakened know this is a lie. The moment you understand that reality bends in response to your thoughts, you begin to take your power back. Even science has started to uncover the truth behind this ancient wisdom. Quantum physics has revealed that at the smallest level, reality behaves in ways that defy logic. The famous double-slit experiment showed that particles behave differently when they are observed, as if reality itself is responding to consciousness. Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiments demonstrated that human thoughts and intentions change the molecular structure of water. Positive thoughts created beautiful, harmonious patterns, while negative thoughts led to chaotic, disordered shapes. If thoughts have this kind of power over something as simple as water, what do they do to your own body, to the world around you? Reality is not solid. It is fluid, shifting, and alive. It is influenced by you in ways that you have been taught to ignore. The easiest way to understand this is to experiment with it. Start small. Set an intention in the morning, something simple, like expecting to see a certain color or a specific number. Watch as it begins to appear throughout your day, in ways that seem almost too coincidental to be real. Then, take it a step further. Consciously shift your thoughts about a situation in your life. Instead of repeating the belief that something is hard, that you are unlucky, that things never work out for you, replace it, not with forced positivity, but with the deep inner knowing that reality is shifting, that things are working in your favor. You will begin to see it, little by little at first, and then more dramatically. Unexpected opportunities will appear, conversations will shift, obstacles that once seemed impossible will dissolve as if they were never there. The reason why this truth remains hidden is not because it is difficult, but because it is too simple. Most people dismiss it. They hear the words, "Your thoughts shape your reality," and assume it is just an empty phrase, something motivational speakers say to fill space. But the ones who take it seriously, they become unstoppable. The world bends for them because they understand the rules of the unseen. They move differently, speak differently, think differently, and reality responds. There is a reason why ancient mystery schools required initiates to go through years of inner transformation before being given true knowledge. If someone filled with doubt, fear, and skepticism were handed the keys to this power, they would either misuse it or dismiss it entirely. That is why so few ever truly wake up. But if you are reading this, something inside you is already stirring. You have already felt glimpses of this power, even if you didn't yet have words for it. Now you must decide. Will you continue seeing life as something happening to you? Or will you take control and start directing the current of reality itself? No matter what your choice was, it's time for you to learn of the next secret. Protect your energy. You should know there are forces in this world that do not want you to know your own power. They feed off your doubt, your fear, your exhaustion. Every time you feel drained for no reason, every time your mind is clouded with negativity that is not your own, Every time you feel lost when you were certain just moments before, understand that this is not random. Your energy is being pulled, tested, and sometimes even taken. Energy is the most valuable thing you have, more than money, more than status, more than anything physical. Your energy shapes your reality. It is the reason why some people walk into a room and shift the entire atmosphere without saying a word, while others seem to shrink and disappear into the background. It is the force behind your intuition, your manifestation, and your ability to change your life. And yet, most people walk through the world completely unaware of how much of it they are giving away. There are those who take energy deliberately, feeding off attention, conflict, or chaos. They do not need to steal your money when they can steal your peace. There are also those who do it without knowing, draining others simply because they have never learned how to generate energy within themselves. And then there are unseen forces, the weight of collective fear, the invisible currents of emotion that run through cities, the residue left behind in places that have witnessed too much pain. Every tradition has spoken of this. The shamans of old knew how to shield themselves from unwanted energy, using sacred plants, symbols, and rituals to cleanse and protect their spirit. The monks of the East spent years mastering the art of inner stillness, learning to let negative energy pass through them without attachment. The ancient mystics understood that where attention goes, energy flows, so they guarded their focus like a treasure, refusing to give it away to anything that did not serve their highest purpose. It is no coincidence that modern life is designed to keep you distracted, depleted, and disconnected from yourself. The endless scrolling, the background noise, the cycle of stress and reaction, it all fragments your energy, scattering it in 1,000 directions so that none of it is truly yours. A mind that is constantly reacting has no space to create. A spirit that is constantly drained has no power to transform. You must reclaim your energy. It begins with awareness. Notice when your mood shifts after being around certain people. Pay attention to how different spaces make you feel. Recognize the moments when your thoughts are not your own, when fear or doubt creeps in suddenly, as if from an outside source. These are signs that something is pulling at your energy. Silence is one of the greatest shields. In silence, you can hear yourself again. In silence, you can pull back the energy you have scattered across conversations, arguments, and worries that were never yours to begin with. Silence allows you to reset, to become aware of what is truly yours and what was placed upon you by others. Boundaries are another shield. A chosen one does not give their energy to just anyone. Not everyone deserves your time, your presence, or your thoughts. The world will try to make you feel guilty for this, as if guarding your own power is selfish. But the ones who truly see will understand. You cannot pour into others if you are empty. Cleansing is necessary. Whether it is through water, through breath, or through sacred practices passed down from ancient times, you must clear the weight of what does not belong to you. A mind full of static cannot receive messages from higher places. A spirit weighed down by the energy of others cannot rise to its full power. Most importantly, remember this. Protecting your energy is not just about shielding yourself from what drains you. It is about strengthening the force within you. The brighter your light, the less darkness can touch you. The stronger your energy, the more you shape the world instead of being shaped by it. The ones who truly awaken understand this. Power is not taken, it is held. Moving on to the next secret, know that the world is starving, but not for food. Nourish your soul. It is starving for meaning, for depth, for something real. You can see it in the way people chase distractions, filling every empty space with noise, scrolling endlessly, consuming but never feeling full. This is not by accident. A weakened soul is easier to control. A distracted mind is easier to manipulate. A person who has forgotten how to feed their own spirit will accept anything that makes them feel something, even if it drains them in the process. But you are not like them. The chosen one knows that the soul must be fed, just as the body must be nourished. It is not enough to exist. You must thrive. You must learn the difference between what fills you and what only numbs the hunger. You must understand that true nourishment does not come from fleeting pleasures, but from the things that expand your spirit, strengthen your energy, and awaken your deepest knowing. The ancients understood this well. The mystics, the sages, the seekers, they all knew that what you consume shapes you, not just physically, but spiritually. This is why certain foods were considered sacred, why fasting was practiced not to deprive, but to reset. This is why words were chosen carefully, stories passed down with intention, because the mind is shaped by what it absorbs. What you allow into your being, in any form, becomes a part of you. Nourishing your soul means choosing wisely. It means feeding your mind with wisdom instead of fear, your heart with love instead of resentment, your energy with purpose instead of chaos. It means recognizing that not everything is meant for you, that some things will leave you drained, scattered, and disconnected from your own power. A chosen one is disciplined in what they allow to take root within them. Silence is food for the soul. It is in stillness that you reconnect with yourself, that you hear the whispers of something greater guiding you. This is why monks retreat into solitude, why visionaries seek the quiet. Because truth is often drowned out by the noise of the world. The more time you spend in silence, the more you remember who you truly are. Creation is also nourishment. When you create, whether through words, music, movement, or even simple expression, you tap into something beyond yourself. The universe itself is an act of creation, constantly expanding, unfolding, becoming. When you create, you align with this force. You step into your own divinity, shaping reality instead of simply reacting to it. But the most powerful nourishment is connection, not to the fleeting surface-level ties that most people cling to, but to something deeper. A chosen one does not seek validation from the world, but communion with something greater. This is why the old masters spoke of devotion, why the wise ones built altars, not because the divine needed worship, but because humans needed to remember. When you truly connect, whether to nature, to the unseen, or to your own higher self, you feel it. Your soul becomes full in a way nothing else can replicate. Do not let the world starve you. Do not let it trick you into thinking that distraction is fulfillment, that consumption is growth. Your soul is ancient, powerful, and limitless, but only if you feed it what it truly needs. The moment you start doing this, everything changes. Your energy strengthens, your mind sharpens, your presence deepens. That leads us to the fifth secret. Sharpen your mind. A mind that is not sharpened will be easily swayed, easily controlled, easily broken. This is why so many people today feel lost, scattered, uncertain of what is real and what is illusion. They have let their minds become blunt, worn down by distractions, poisoned by lies, softened by a world that does not want them to think for themselves. But you are not like them. A chosen one knows that the mind must be honed like a weapon, trained like a warrior, refined like a priceless artifact. It is not enough to simply know things. Information is not wisdom. Knowledge without clarity is like a sword without a sharpened edge. It may look impressive, but it cannot cut through anything. You must go beyond learning. You must learn how to see. The ancient masters knew this. They understood that true power does not come from the outside, but from perception. The samurai meditated before battle, knowing that a calm mind sees openings where others see obstacles. The mystics trained their focus for years, understanding that the deeper they could think, the more reality itself would bend in response. The most powerful beings in history were never the loudest, never the most reckless. They were the ones who saw patterns others missed, who could think 10 steps ahead while the world stumbled in the dark. Sharpening your mind begins with what you allow into it. Most people consume mindlessly, letting anything and everything shape their thoughts. But a chosen one chooses deliberately. They know that words have weight, that ideas are seeds, and that what you focus on expands. A mind filled with noise cannot think. A mind drowned in nonsense cannot cut through illusion. There is an ancient belief that the world we see is only a fraction of what exists, that the mind, when truly honed, can pierce through the veil and perceive what others cannot. The Gnostics called it gnosis, a state of direct knowing beyond logic. The Taoists spoke of the uncarved block, the pure state of mind before it is cluttered by distraction. Even in modern science, there is proof that perception shapes reality, that observation itself influences the physical world. This is why focus is sacred. A scattered mind is a weak mind, but when you train your focus, when you learn to hold a thought without letting it slip, to read deeply instead of skimming, to sit in silence without craving escape, you awaken something ancient inside you. Your mind stops being just a tool and becomes a force. You begin to see through deception, sense things before they happen, and understand truths that others miss. There is an old saying, "The sharpest sword is the one never drawn." This does not mean a sharp mind is passive. It means it is precise. It cuts only when necessary. It is not wasted on trivial things, on pointless arguments, or on distractions meant to drain its power. A chosen one does not waste their mind. They use it with purpose, with intention, with mastery. The world will try to dull you. It will feed you lies, fill your time with nonsense, and keep you so busy that you forget to think. Do not let it happen. A sharpened mind is your greatest weapon, your clearest guide, your strongest shield. It is what separates those who are led from those who lead. The moment you begin sharpening your mind, you will feel it, the shift, the clarity, the knowing. The fog will lift, and you will start to see the world as it truly is. And once you do, you'll discover the next secret. The principle of vibration. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Nothing in existence is ever truly still. The ancients knew this long before science could prove it. The great mystics and sages whispered of a force that pulses through all things, unseen but undeniable. The Hermetic texts spoke of it, calling it the principle of vibration, one of the fundamental laws of reality. The sages of the East described it in their chants, their mantras designed to align the self with the frequency of the universe. Even now, in hidden circles, those who truly understand energy manipulation know that vibration is the key to everything. To understand vibration is to understand power. There is a reason certain sounds make the body tremble, why some words feel like spells, why a single moment of pure emotion can shift the course of an entire life. Everything has a frequency, and every frequency carries meaning. Joy, fear, anger, love, each has a unique vibration that ripples out like waves in a vast ocean, unseen but shaping the currents of reality itself. The mystic Rumi once wrote, "Do not be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth." He understood that those who master vibration do not simply react to the world, they shape it. They do not move to the rhythm of what they are given. They create their own. This is why true masters of energy can walk into a room and change its entire atmosphere without saying a word. It is not magic. It is a vibration. Look at history, and you will see this secret hidden in plain sight. The great mystics and leaders did not need weapons. Their very presence was enough to shake empires. The shamans of old did not simply heal with herbs. They used chants and sounds, aligning the body's frequency with balance. Nikola Tesla, a mind far ahead of his time, once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Those who do not understand vibration are at the mercy of it. They are like ships tossed in a storm, carried by frequencies they do not control. They absorb the anger of others, the fear, the chaos. They let their moods be dictated by whatever frequency is strongest around them. But those who understand know that they are not passive, they are creators. A chosen one does not simply accept the vibrations around them, they fine-tune their own. They know that even a single thought carries a frequency, and that frequency attracts its match. This is why fear breeds more fear, why confidence attracts success, and why love brings more love. It is not superstition, it is alignment. The universe does not respond to words alone, it responds to energy. This is why affirmations without belief do not work. It is not about saying you are powerful, it is about feeling it, vibrating at that frequency until reality has no choice but to match it. Many who walked this path before us understood this deeply. The yogis who chanted sacred sounds knew they were not just making noise, they were altering their reality. The monks who sat in silence knew that their stillness was not empty, but filled with vibration too subtle for most to notice. Even the great warriors of ancient times, those who fought not just with swords but with spirit, understood that the battle was won long before the first strike. Because victory is a frequency, and those who embody it cannot be defeated. This is the secret that has been hidden, the knowledge that has been suppressed. If you control your vibration, you control your reality. It is the unseen force behind manifestation, the key to energy work, and the reason some seem to move through life effortlessly, while others struggle at every turn. The world will try to pull you into its discord, into its chaos, into its distractions. But you do not have to accept it. You can choose your frequency. You can decide what you vibrate at, what you attract, and what you become. Once you understand vibration, you will see it everywhere. And once you master it, reality will bend in ways you never thought possible. Maintain balance with your body and spirit. Now that you've learned of the first 7, it's time to learn the last 2, the most important ones of all. First, the body and spirit are not separate. They are reflections of each other. When one falls out of balance, the other suffers. A weary body drags the spirit into exhaustion. A restless soul unsettles the body, filling it with unease. This truth has been known by sages, healers, and mystics for thousands of years. Yet in today's world, people live as if the body and spirit are two strangers, forced to coexist, rather than parts of the same whole. When the body is neglected, the spirit feels caged. Ancient traditions understood this well. The yogis of India did not twist their bodies into impossible shapes just for discipline. They did it to free energy, to allow the spirit to move without obstruction. The shamans of the Americas did not fast in the wilderness out of suffering. They did it to cleanse, to sharpen the bridge between the physical and the unseen. In every corner of the world, those who walked the path of wisdom treated their bodies not as burdens, but as vessels of power. Yet, balance is not only about strength or stillness, it is about harmony. There is a reason why monks meditate but also walk, why warriors train but also rest. Extremes pull the spirit in opposite directions, and in doing so, they weaken it. Too much stillness, and the fire of action fades. Too much movement, and the clarity of the spirit is lost. The Taoists called this the dance of yin and yang, the eternal balance of opposing forces. When one overpowers the other, life itself falls out of rhythm. Modern science is only now catching up to what the ancients already knew. The famous study on willpower by Roy Baumeister showed that the mind's strength depletes like a muscle when overused. Those who push themselves endlessly without pause lose focus, just as those who never challenge themselves become weak. Balance is the key. The most powerful minds know when to push and when to breathe, when to act and when to retreat. But the real secret is this: your body and spirit are always communicating. Every ache, every restless night, every sudden burst of energy is a message. The problem is, most people have forgotten how to listen. They drown out their exhaustion with caffeine, numb their tension with distractions, and ignore their inner calling with noise. The body whispers its needs long before it screams, and the spirit does the same. Those who pay attention find themselves in alignment. Those who do not drift further into imbalance until something breaks. Many of the greatest minds in history understood this. Leonardo da Vinci, often called a genius beyond his time, was known to take short naps throughout the day instead of forcing himself to work endlessly. Nikola Tesla walked 10 miles a day, believing it sharpened his mind. Even Albert Einstein spoke of intuition, the deep knowing that does not come from thinking alone, but from a mind and spirit in balance. These were not just habits, they were understandings of energy. And energy is everything. A body that moves with purpose fuels a mind that thinks with clarity. A spirit that is nourished breathes life into every action. This is why those who seek wisdom are often told to start with their breath. The breath is the bridge, the simplest and purest way to reconnect body and spirit. Inhaling deeply pulls the mind back into awareness. Exhaling releases what no longer serves. It is in this simple act that presence is found, that balance begins to return. The world is full of forces that seek to unbalance you, endless distractions, the rush of time, the weight of responsibilities, each one pulling you in different directions, stretching you too thin, leaving you drained and disconnected. But balance is not given. It is something you create. It is something you choose. Now, the final secret is one that can change your life for good. The power of silence and secrecy. Know that there was a time when wisdom was whispered, not shouted. The greatest knowledge did not belong to those who spoke the loudest, but to those who knew when to stay silent. The ancient masters understood this well. Secrets of power, energy, and reality itself were never written in plain words for all to see. They were passed in hushed voices, hidden in symbols, locked within parables. To truly understand, one had to earn the knowledge. But now, the world is louder than it has ever been. Social media demands that every thought, every movement, every secret be shared instantly. People feel the pressure to broadcast their lives, to explain themselves, to be seen at all times. What was once sacred is now treated as entertainment. And in the rush to be heard, something vital is being lost. Silence is not emptiness, it is power. The mind that is always speaking cannot listen. The person who constantly reveals their plans weakens them before they even begin. There is a reason the wisest ones, the real chosen ones, move in shadows rather than in spectacle. They know that words have energy, and when spoken too soon, they leak that energy into the world before it is ready to take form. The Taoists of ancient China spoke of the uncarved block, the raw potential that exists before something is shaped by the world. An idea, a dream, a path, each of these begins in its most powerful state when it is untouched, unshaped by outside influence. The moment it is spoken aloud, it is carved, changed by opinions, doubt, and interference. This is why the masters kept their greatest insights quiet. This is why warriors trained in secrecy before revealing their strength. Even in modern times, those who truly understand power do not announce their moves. The wealthiest people do not tell the world their next investment before they make it. The strongest minds do not waste time arguing with those who do not listen. The real thinkers, the real doers, operate in silence. They know that secrecy protects energy, that noise drains it. This is why so many fail before they begin. They declare their intentions too soon, letting their energy scatter before it solidifies. They share their struggles with people who do not understand, receiving judgment instead of support. They open doors that should have remained closed. Not all knowledge is meant to be given freely. Not all power should be exposed. The ancient mystics knew this truth well. In India, the concept of mauna, sacred silence, was practiced by those seeking enlightenment. It was not simply about not speaking, it was about conserving energy, sharpening focus, listening to the subtle movements of the universe. In the stillness of silence, the greatest insights arose. The deepest truths revealed themselves not in words, but in the space between them. Yet, in today's world, silence is seen as something to be feared. People fill every moment with noise, with distraction, with constant validation from the outside world. But real power is never loud. The tree does not announce itself before it grows. The river does not ask permission before carving through the stone. Those who understand this move differently. They do not seek approval. They do not explain themselves. They do not give away what should be kept hidden. But silence is not only about secrecy, it is about control. The moment you stop speaking carelessly, you gain mastery over your own mind. The moment you stop sharing your plans with those who do not need to know, you protect your own path. Words shape reality, but they also limit it. Speak too soon, and you trap yourself in expectations. Hold your silence, and you remain free. This is not about isolation. It is about understanding who truly deserves to hear your voice. It is about knowing which words build and which words destroy. Some things must be spoken to grow. Others must be kept within, allowed to develop in the dark, away from prying eyes. And so, the final secret is this: silence is not weakness, it is a tool. Secrecy is not deception, it is wisdom. In a world that demands constant exposure, true power belongs to those who know when to disappear, when to withhold, and when to let their energy build before releasing it. Because those who move in silence always move the farthest. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.